The tribe's caught a fluffy hulk. Better watch out, it's no pet. They couldn't keep it down. Fluff hulk's on the loose. You've already drained yourself. Had better days. You gave them no choice but to take it down, even though they'd planned to take the Fluff Hulk out to the Farfnaki leaves and let it go. They've received news a Ronin had strengthened their ranks and were looking forward to meeting you. A group of myriad crusaders already headed out to Jagni's Mercadorpus outpost and are waiting for you there. You should hurry there and help them best the outpost. Not really. It's west of Bricktown. You can spot Gizmo's Chugyard from the hill it resides on. Look, an emergency box. Wow, bet that nut makes a tight fist. Toxanol was something called a corporate juggernaut, and our world still bears the marks of the massive ecological catastrophes they inflicted upon the land. The apocalypse they caused was the end of days for their world. But for us, it was simply a beginning. Tunnels like this still carry echoes from the past. Can you hear it? No one's going to see you coming in the dark. Your key is gone. Scorchy George. Clonkety clonk. You're energized. Sock it to him. Everyone loves a good hat. That notice board, filled with the leftovers of used-to-be wants. You're getting close to one of those old Toxanol brick towns. Pay attention. Well, small ones. Places like this were cheap back in those days, and there was plenty of space. Get done with one place, you just build another. There must be a track somewhere in this brick town. Just hope it's not buried. Let's see. The trees are not giving up even as the world ends. Never. You need to get the pegs lined up to get the clothes soaker rolling. Just a few moves left. Make them count. You really put a spin on it. No time for yawning. Day is calling. You found the track. So much of this place was just discarded. Lucky the track somehow made it. When Toxanol abandoned the place, it fell apart fast. Not too many like living in a ruin hole like this. The tracks moved on from Bricktown, and you should too. Looks like the fry sparker's knobs need to be in sync if you want to get the hardware working. Just a few moves left. Make them count. It's a fry sparker mindset. Boom! You got something. It's not exactly what you wanted, but you got it right away. Life is a difficult game, no matter how you play it. That's not too bad. A flush stool from the... Seems like the tighteners on the piping need to be unturned correctly to drain the flush stool. Just a few moves left. Make them count. That's the kind of trouble you really want to wash away. Shield your eyes if the daylight hurts you. It's Peekaboo Park. Young ones love this sort of place. Don't give up now. Wish they'd have listened to reason. This one seems to be in good spirits, despite being left here for dead. Has heard that you have a sense of compassion and trusts it. Asks you to do. Is grateful you.
Fan that flame!
Wait, no, Bright.
I've got all the cold sick burns you need, Dark. I don't have to.
That's an improvement. Thought you were smart enough to know better than to try to save things. Hopes to see you again soon. so eager to die. You can see so much farther in the light. Something has to be able to open this lock. Don't let the day pass you by. The board mainly has posts from those that used to work at the Chugyard back in the days gone. They don't make much sense these days. Not much more to say about the board, but Gizmo is holed up in... The Toxanol Corporation used to run chugger-chuggers out of here, big machines on rails with smokestacks that fouled the air. They can carry you anywhere you like. Well, anywhere that they go to. You're on the right track. tribe's always scavenging for scrap, and the yard has plenty to go around. But they should have stuck to looting instead of playing around with sprockets. Fry pan. You've used up all your key energy. Bomper Bonker's busy ram-banging the door. This is your chance. Scrag them. The sound of leaves can be calming. Let's see. Flex up. This box once tailed a chugger. Now it's just off track. Right between the eyes. Yes, you can do anything. The sky's the limit. Now, let's take this back to Earth. Wow, you really took that all the way down to the end, in flames. Disgusting. Biohazard. Just gross. Heroes are only heroes for others, but they do the work, or they're heroes to no one. It's a wonder some of these up and downs still work. Guess they built machines better in the past. The spent nuclear fuel that Toxanol dumped in the surf had detrimental effects on the marine habitats, while the overflowing landfills contaminated the groundwater. Combined, this sent their world hurtling on an inevitable road to ruin. I need to brush up on my Wando, but I have a feeling he believes it was you that caused the bang at the yard. Oh, and he says he knows you. You used to call him Gizmo. He gave you the oil-greased hands when he taught you how to upcycle. Gizmo remembers you as a nice kidling, and he can still sense the warmth of your good heart. He hopes you remember that one... Gizmo says he also has re-memories from the long gone, but unlike you, he doesn't think of the past, for it's gone. He understands history made Loopa-Loopa. You still believe there's some good in everyone. You still have hope. He says you should know that what's meant to be will always find a way, but history... Gizmo encourages that. You should forgive, but never forget.
Light instantly banishes dark.
How much light do you really need?
All the light, all of it!
I mean, you could leave a little space for the dark.
All the light.
Would like to know if you ever doubt the choices you made on the path that brought you to this point. Would you have been happier going in a different direction? Supposes that's all any of us can do. Hard to believe the world is actually going to survive. Just seemed impossible till now. Grateful to you for coming back and doing your best to change things. You were the only chance they had. Wonders if you liked working with the Myriad. They always seemed so centered and so seeking. Thinks that's more than most are. It's hard to keep to a path like that. But that's not important now. Gizmo says it's taken a long time to bring the past up to the present, and where you go from here is up to you. You need to set the past aside, at least for now. He can't leave the underyard as he has no protection against the vacuum in the dead zone, so you need to salvage scrap to upcycle the Mekton, starting with the old crate outside. That's what he decided to call it after he saw it for the first time. It's big and fluffy. That's accurate enough. If you can see past the blue color, that is. Looks like the switches need to be turned to match so enough charge can flow through the conductors. Good. That's enough electric current to initiate the actuators and activate the framework. You're soaked straight through. They're short of breath and death to this zone. Better take care. He who half breathes, half lives. Yuck! Biohazard. Sickening. No air left for whining about it. He says that's enough to get the Mekton functional. You'll have an engine, a fuel soaker, a gun, and a gathering net, but no armor, nor enough oxygen supply. Something he devised to salvage valuables from the ground. There are usually spots hidden beneath puddles of oily goo where you can use the net. He's been working on another project for the Mekton, a cannon, but it needs ammunition, and by that he means the scripts. He says if they're trained right, they'll turn into a distraction for the jumbo puff. The best way to find scripts is to go talk to Moog. He knows the ins and outs of every breathing thing left alive after the apocalypse. Unfortunately, this means you'll have to venture farther out into the dead zone than Moog's camp on the steep depot. Once you find Moog, he'll be able to give you directions to where you'll find scripts. Gizmo thinks he's a little peculiar, but very knowledgeable. He has the ins and outs of all monster and creature whereabouts. The Grease Monkey's Mekton is built sturdy, just like himself. Can you imagine how this place used to look before the dead oil flood? Might want to hold your breath before you head any further. You're about to witness the breathtaking vistas of what's known as the Dead Zone. In the old world, roads like this really led somewhere. Now, most of them lead to disaster. That over there is Steepo Depot, the cliffside that Moog hangs on to. Hear that? It's called quiet.
Potser in mo. Diava.
Let's see.
Badam wakumo nash vaya inta badam faurujudu.
This one's impressed to see you out here. He figured you'd be dead by now. Not many are as tough and clever as you must be.
Vitze njavov.
Claims he goes after the most dangerous game, huge monsters.
Lema.
Moog says that all your power doesn't do you a bit of good if you're not willing to pull the trigger when the time comes.
Why and foodle a haya.
Choosing what to kill and what to spare are the most important decisions you'll make.
Como judo vavazene.
You might have a steady aim, but you need to be sure that you pick your targets with care.
In mo jamakuda horedatunka badayan analove.
It's hard to make those life or death decisions for others, but someone's got to do it. Otherwise, they'll do it themselves, and you know they'll miss.
Como judo vavazene.
When it comes to monsters, he mostly picks who dies.
Como judo vavazene. E kanishala vai.
Says it's wild that the world seems to be coming back, but he supposes that means more monsters for him to shoot.
Kuali.
Wonders why you work so hard to keep things alive. Bullets help thin the herd instead.
Vaksan u inta badan kamakla. Why adfuno jiabe.
Says you should give up on working with the stubborn myriad. He keeps trying to put out their lights and they keep putting up new ones.
Vaksan mar malva cherry.
Says they keep the monsters away. He needs them closer, not farther.
Untlump.
But enough of that, right?
Untlump. Echine manshela fat.
He says the wildlife, nature, has changed and turned against us. Instincts of survival took over when the world changed.
Echine.
He's not sure about their veggie diet anymore, and if it's changed, who knows what it's done with the chemical composition of their body output.
Manshela mustakbala hidlo.
Right now, though, he feels he's come to a point where he's got a pretty clear idea on the whereabouts of monsters, both tall and short.
Circa full of in the horse.
Says as big as they are, the world is bigger. To find where they are, you need to see where they've been.
Circa full of in the horse.
Moog says you must learn to walk before you can run. It takes practice before you can call yourself a monster hunter.
Dana untizafela.
Fortunately for you, he can help. He understands you need to start off with something small before you go big.
Netomozakula imapela. Takadnio umumwaka.
There's no better place to start than a squip cave. Hunting down a couple of these little critters for yourself should keep you on your toes.
Tomozakula imapela. Winshila book.
Says you stick to the hunting and shots present themselves later. The deeper the night, the darker it gets. Wait, it's the Scrip hole-up. Place is just filled with critters. Keep hammering away. Right where it cuts, bangarang. Stompity stomp. Stay away from that biohazard. You'll want to wash yourself off for a month. Definitely not open. Once the volatilization from the nuclear waste evaporated, a volatile gas rose through the soil and infested structures, even Toxanol's own buildings. So, in a way, they caused their own death. If a story is about you, care for it. Oh, idea. Go knock the lid off that sludge truck. It'll fill the place up and you can get up to that entrance there. All yours now. Ready to begin blasting? You need to line up the switches so they match. Just a few moves left. Make them count. Good. That's enough electric current to initiate the actuators and activate the framework. Double the grip for twice the damage. For when you want to put all your strength into it.